Bismillah. Once upon a time, on a farm full of fields and valleys, a duke was holding its eggs, waiting to hatch with longing and hunting. As time came, her chicks broke the egg shells and came out in turn. Quack quack! Every chick was more beautiful than his predecessor. The tender duck noticed that its biggest egg did not hatch. And from the beginning she was confused because she is sad for it. Looking at it, not looking away from it, thinking that the chick inside it is dead, only few minutes later it split up with a strange looking, grey-colored chick who had no resemblance to his brothers. The grey chick became the subject of ridicule with his brothers and farm animals, and at best cases he was surprising. Every time he passed by he was pointed at him with fingers and heard chats such as, "Look at this ugly chick." He was sometimes beaten. His brothers avoided playing with him, so he decided to leave the farm, knowing the dangers he might face. The ugly chick came out of the farm sad and set off until he reached a lake full of wild ducks. Then suddenly he heard the sound of gunshots and saw the swarms of wild ducks floundering and flying in every direction. And fell near him a duck hit by a bullet. He tried to help her, but one of the hunter's dogs picked her up away from her owner. Her duke followed by saying, "Wow, even the dog did not like him, so he did not eat him." The ugly chick grieved to hear that, but soon remembered, so he thanked God who survived him from the dog and the hunters and continued his journey. On his way, the ugly duckling was kept under the shadow of a mulberry tree, and he fell asleep from the intensity of fatigue, and was awakened only by the voice of an old woman who was carrying him with her hands, saying, "I hope you are a female who will lay delicious egg for me," until she arrived at her home, where conceited her and the brazen chicken lived with her. They only met in justice and content. 3 weeks later, the old woman realized that the ugly duckling was a male who did not lay eggs, so he was expelled the worst expulsion, and here he was again wandering towards a mysterious fate. Walking said, I hid inside the jungles of the dense forest. The winter came, and the cold intensified, leaving the place from the birds. Then the storms and snow fell and flooded our ugly duckling, and almost perished frozen, if there was not a good farmer who found him on his way and rushed him to warmth, water and food. After the calm of the storm and the rays of the sun, the children of the farmer came out playing in noise, and approached the ugly duckling to play him, and thought that they would beat him, and he flew in panic and landed in the milk bowl. Then the farmer's wife shouted and followed him to beat him, and he fell into the floor back. The boys tried to help him, and he used all his strength out of the house until he landed on the lake bank. He snuck in and hid among the reed sittings, succumbing to deep sleep. The ugly duckling spent a period of suffering from cold and loneliness until the first breeze of spring was blown, and filled himself with joy and hope. As he sat among the grass, he glimpsed 3 white birds he had never seen in his life, swimming in the lake and making eye-catching moments. So he dreamed and wished he was like them. Then he remembered all his suffering and decided to swim towards these wonderful creatures, which is the maximum harm that may do him to kill him, relieving him of his ugliness and suffering. The ugly chick set off towards the swans, and he was sure that his blow will inevitably come to him. He began to turn around little by little and was noticed by them. Contrary to what he thought that he even attracted them, he was surprised, and he looked at the image of his shadow in the water, and he could hardly believe his eyes. He is not an ugly chick. He noticed a wonderful pelican, really beautiful. Then he heard children say, "Look at that swan. He is a newcomer. He is the most beautiful, strongest and youngest." And he said to himself, "It does not matter that you are born in a house of dukes or otherwise, as long as you have come out of a swan egg. In the end, the truth of things emerges."